I use this habit to lose 40 pounds, to improve my marriage, to buy 14,000 rental units, to become a millionaire many times over, to deepen my relationship with my kids, and so much more. Success isn't from one perfect thing done really big. It's from doing a lot of little things over and over. It's like the compound effect of that. Like, that's what changes your life. You get the results of what you repeatedly do. Every morning, spend 30 seconds and track your habits. And not just any habits. I want you to actually track the inputs that'll deliver the outputs on your life that you want. What are you trying to accomplish in life? What are the habits or constraints that would make this goal inevitable if I did it long enough and strong enough and consistent enough? Every morning, I just go down the list of my 12 habits and I put either a check mark or a dash. And I'd highly recommend doing it every morning, because if you let a few days go by, you might not remember what you just did. So I love gamifying this habit track, because if I've defined the habits that are designed to get me closer to my dream life or my goals, my life is getting better as my score improves. Plus, I'm a competitive guy. I want to beat my high score, and that keeps me motivated every single morning, and I think it might do the same thing for you. Okay, so here is a 30-second habit that's going to make you millions of dollars. Now, my name is Brandon Turner. I'm a real estate investor, an author, a father, husband, and this 30-second routine is like the mother of all morning routines. This is the high point of all habits, the synthesis of systems, if you want to call it that way. It's like, this is how you improve your life. And I promise I'm gonna tell you what it is in the next 45 seconds. But first, let me ask you, where does success come from? Let's say you want to buy an investment property like I do, or you want to open up a coffee shop, or you want to be husband of the year to your spouse. Where does success actually come from in that? Let's take that last one. Let's say you did something really big and cool for your spouse. Let's say you bought them their dream car and you surprised them with it and they were overjoyed. Does that make you husband of the year? Well, maybe. But if you're smart right now, you're probably asking, okay, yeah, you did one thing, but what are you doing the rest of the year? Because success isn't from one perfect thing done really big. It's from doing a lot of little things over and over. It's like the compound effect of that. That's what changes your life. So yeah, sure, buy your wife a car if you can afford it, but if you really want to improve your marriage, go on a date every week, or make your spouse their favorite cup of coffee every day, or sit on the front porch and talk about your life with your spouse every day, or do the dishes, take out the trash without being asked, right? You get the idea. You get the results of what you repeatedly do. I'm gonna say that again. You get the results of what you repeatedly do. So that brings us to the 30-second habit that is going to make you millions of dollars. It's the thing that rules all other habits. Now, you've heard it before, but I bet 99% of you are not doing this simple thing. Here's what it is. Every morning, spend 30 seconds and track your habits. And not just any habits. I want you to actually track the inputs that'll deliver the outputs on your life that you want. Now, later in the video, I'm gonna share what that means. I'm gonna share my free habit tracking worksheet with you. You can actually download it. You can use it. I think you're gonna love it. But first, here's how to actually get this done and use it to align your long-term goals with your day-to-day actions. Because honestly, most people just do this stuff completely wrong. But one quick request, if this is even remotely helpful, please hit that little like button below the video and tell the internet gods that this is a valuable video, and maybe even share it with a friend. All right, habit tracking. This is what I want you to do. First, let's back up. What are you trying to accomplish in life? We want to start there. We want to set habits around those areas that you want to accomplish in life. Maybe you want to buy a rental property. Maybe it's your first one. So then we want to ask ourselves, okay, what are the habits or constraints that would make this goal inevitable if I did it long enough and strong enough and consistent enough? Now, when it comes to rental property ownership, I would say things like analyzing properties regularly, meeting with experienced investors in your local market repeatedly, spending time or money on lead generation repeatedly, maybe attending a real estate meetup or a conference, or just time spent reading real estate books or personal development books, or educating yourself. Now, in the business world, these are known as lead measures because they are measurable actions that lead to the result that we want. If you want to lose weight, a lead measure might be counting calories and keeping under a certain amount of, calories per day, or it could be avoiding alcohol or sugar, which is a constraint. It's something you don't do or you limit. It could be going to the gym, it could be going running or whatever, right? I love the question, what would make this goal inevitable? If you can answer that, that's what we're talking about. It gets you clear on where exactly you're going, what it takes to get there. So you're gonna wanna list as many of those lead measures as possible for the thing you want in life. And then you're gonna narrow them down. I think if you're tracking more than a dozen or so habits, you're just gonna get confused and it gets overwhelming and you're more likely to quit. So I want you to pick just a couple habits for each of the main goals you have in life. And so what are the most important lead measures you can for your goals? In fact, let me show you my habits actually right now. So my first habit is to to improve my spiritual life, my walk with God. So I came up with a habit I'm gonna call the 10-10-1, which says I'm gonna pray for 10 minutes every morning, read 10 pages of a spiritual book, and then read one chapter of the Bible. Now that's like a habit, or really it's a combination of 3 habits that I put into a fancy name and made it one habit. That should help deepen my spiritual life, right? And we'll talk about later what to do if your lead measure doesn't get you the result you want, but let me first continue the list. So the second goal I have was track my macros and be on track and on target. It basically means I'm getting 180 grams of protein with less than 2,500 calories in a day. That's what I believe is gonna give me the body that I'm working toward, the goal that I want. And then I've got work on the real estate enterprise, which is a business goal of mine. I don't have to go too deep into that one, but I mean, I've got lift weights at the gym. I've got do something fun with friends. I got go on a date with my kids. I got go on a date with my wife. I have no evening screen time, which means I stop using my phone at 6 p.m. so I can be present with my family. And that habit, by the way, it's like an anchor habit, right? If I just did that thing, shut off my phone, it actually improves a ton of areas of my life all in one, from relationships to sleep to mindset to work and more. Now, I also want to be a better sibling and son, so I actually track calling a family member, and I want to make sure I'm active every day, so I track, did I get 8,000 steps? Did I have a call with a member of the 50, which is a high-level, travel mastermind group that I run with millionaire dudes? And then finally, did I get out of bed by 6 a.m.? Because that's another one of those like anchor habits. It affects so many areas of my life positively. So those are my habits. Like those are literally my habit list. But let's talk frequency targets. Like I do want to get 8,000 steps a day, but I don't need to go on a date with my kids every day. I want to define the frequency. In other words, I want to define how many times per week will I aim to do this habit. So like, for example, I aim to do the 10-10-1 6 days a week, but I only aim for 1 phone call per week with a member of the 50. And of course I can do more than that, but that's the frequency target. Every single week, usually on a Sunday, I sit down and I rewrite my weekly habits, and then I also write the 3 goals at the top, the habits, and then the frequency that I want to do. It takes like 5 minutes once a week to do that. I actually spend that 5 minutes every week to rewrite those goals, habits, and I think it just cements it in my brain better. Every morning, the first thing I do after drinking some, water with electrolytes and making a cup of coffee is I spend 30 seconds and I just go down the list of my 12 habits and I put either a check mark or a dash. A check if I did the thing yesterday, or a dash if I didn't do the thing yesterday. That's it. It takes 30 seconds max. And I'd highly recommend doing it every morning, because if you let a few days go by, you might not remember what you just did yesterday or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. It only takes 30 seconds. You can do this every day. You can do it while you're brushing teeth or sitting on the john. And it's really the best way to get this new 30-second habit of habit tracking cemented into your life, is to anchor the habit or to stack it on top of another habit that you already have, that you already do and you don't need a willpower for. Actually, in his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about this strategy. He says, quote, "The best way to build a new habit is to identify a current habit you already do every day and then stack your new behavior on top." Right? It's so simple and powerful. Now, finally, let's talk about, after the week is done, you've got a bunch of checks, a bunch of dashes across your week. Now we want to add up your score. So to do that, we want to compare the total number of times you did the habits during the week to the goal or the target you set for it. So for example, you went to the gym on Monday and then not on Tuesday or Wednesday, but then you went on Thursday and Friday and then not again over the weekend. So that was 4 times. And let's say your frequency target was 3. So you got a 4 out of 3. Nice work. But let's say you wanted to go on 2 dates with your wife, but you did not get around to it. For whatever reason, excuses don't really matter here. It's just facts. Did you do it or did you not do it? In that case, it's a 0 out of 2. Now you're just gonna add up your whole week. Mine, for example, if I add up all my targets, a perfect week of mine is 44. I get 44 different habits that I would have done would be a perfect week. And when I added up at the end, I ended up, with something else. Like this week, I got a 39. Now that's like 89%. But check out this week. This one, I got a 98% because I got 43 out of 44. And actually on one of these, I got a 50 out of 44, 114%. So I love gamifying this habit track, because if I've defined the habits that are designed to get me closer to my dream life or my goals, and then I accomplish more of those actions or habits over time, what does that mean? It means I'm getting closer to my goals and my dream life. My life is getting better as my score improves. Plus, I'm a competitive guy, so if I'm just like competing against myself, like I'm still doing it. I want to beat my high score, and that keeps me motivated every single morning, and I think it might do the same thing for you. And hey, speaking of having a better life, this is literally what we do inside the Better Life Tribe. I mean, every year we set annual goals. I encourage you to do this too. Set a big annual goal, and then every quarter set quarterly goals. We do that together. The quarterly goals line up to the annuals, and then we define the 12 habits we're going to track inside the journal. And then we track those habits. And we even have one-on-one accountability results coaches whose sole job it is to hold you accountable to those actions. All right, now, Last question. What if I do my habit tracking and I'm hitting my targets, but I'm not reaching my goals? Well, the simple answer is if you're doing the actions and not getting the results, either A, you're not doing the actions right, meaning you're lying to yourself about doing them, like, sneaking Oreo cookies when you said you've been eating healthy and really you ate a bunch of Oreos all day, or B, you're tracking the wrong lead measures, which is why at the end of every quarter, I have all my clients, all of our Better Life Tribe members, we revisit the habits and we adjust them accordingly. Like if you're doing the work and not getting the results, you need to change the work. Does that make sense? And change isn't necessarily going to happen overnight, but if you stick with the right habits, with the right intensity and the right frequency for a long period of time, and you make adjustments as needed, you will change your life. Every area of it. Now, if this was helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more on how to build wealth without losing your soul, and snag a free copy of this habit tracker. You literally can download a free copy of the Habit Tracker by going to abetterlife.com/HT. For the Better Life Tribe, First Deal, and Open Door Capital, my name is Brandon Turner, signing off.